Hey everybody, I'm Clifford Stummy, the Pop Song Professor, and welcome to my channel where we make song lyrics explained. Today we're talking about The Outside by 21 Pilots from Scaled and Icy, and if you're like me, when you first heard this song, you were very confused. Up and down they're nodding, like, what is that? What's going on? Why is Tyler Joseph singing about one by one taking a hit and joining the club? Like, what is going on here? It was a confusing song at first, but now that I look back at it, it feels like I should have understood what was going on because it feels so simple now. So let's take a look at the first verse and we'll just march on through. I'm already bored. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. I've got a long drive. I'll tape my eyes so I don't fall asleep again, singing out, which then leads into the chorus. So there are multiple things that you experience that you see or take in by your senses, and he's driving, so he's trying to stay awake. This is the first bit of car imagery that I've gotten from this album too, which is something that we tend to see again and again in 21 Pilots, but he's driving, right? And he's trying to stay awake with the eyes taped open. But the thing that's supposed to maybe be helping him stay awake is boring. And he sings in the chorus, up and down, they're nodding. Heads are moving up and down, you got it. Everybody stand in line, one by one, take a hit, join the club. And I think that what he's talking about here, guys, is maybe the music industry. Honestly, this song reminded me a lot of Lane Boy from Blurryface, because Lane Boy was kind of their song about not being like other people. They say stay in your lane, boy, but we go where we want to. And I think that that is a theme that comes up a bunch in 21 Pilots. I mean, not as much as other themes. It's not the most popular theme, but like it shows up on almost every album. If you go back to Vessel, it's in Holding On To You. And on Trench, it was a little bit of Pet Cheetah and The Hype, right? So with this song in particular, he continues on in the chorus, kids will try to take my vibes, or am I on the outside? Kids will try to take my vibes. The younger generation of musicians maybe will try to take what I've done and make songs similar to me and like copy my style, right? Like we have seen bands in the past definitely copy 21 Pilots in some ways. But you know, the imagery that he's using is one of sameness. Like everybody stand in line, up and down you got it. Everybody up and down nod your heads. Like they're all doing this all at the same time. There's nothing unique or interesting about this. One by one, take a hit, join the club, which is, you know, taking a hit, taking drugs is an imagery piece and a reference that we get from regular pop music all the time. It's really, really boring at this point. You know, join the club, join the same club as everybody else. And so I think that Tyler's saying when he says then at the end of the chorus, or am I on the outside, is like, okay, maybe I am in the club, and everybody's copying me and trying to join my club and nodding their heads up and down with me and like ripping off my vibes. Or am I on the outside? Like, do I still got it? Am I like different and unique enough? Or are they trying to copy something else and I'm watching them? Maybe there's something wrong with me. Like there's a lot of tiny micro ways that you could take that, but the overall thing is that these people are all the same and I'm trying to be different, which again fits in really well with the vibes of Lane Boy. So then we get into verse 2. He talks about a long drive, I'll tape my eyes so I don't fall asleep again because he's bored. Back into the chorus, and then we get into the bridge, which may be the single most fun part of the entire album. I am a megalodon, oceans feeling like a pond. I'm a big old dinosaur, and even the oceans seem small compared to me because I'm so big. Swimming like a beast underneath they be clinging on. They are trying to, you know, mooch off of me. They're trying, it's like, you know, when a whale has a bunch of little fish that live off of it. I mean, it's technically symbiosis, but I think that that's not really what Tyler's thinking of. I think he's thinking of like people are trying to, you know, basically copy me. Meteoric rise in prehistoric times, so before this style of music got super popular, or before, really, honestly, I think so much of this comes down to the lyrics. I don't even know if Tyler knows this, but I, like, listening to Blurryface go popular, I felt like as I was explaining the top 40 of that time period before it went popular and as it was going popular and then into now, I think so many bands have realized, oh, deep lyrics keep fans long-term, catchy vibes only hook people for a moment. And I think a lot of people started getting way more deep in their lyrics because of 21 Pilots and now because of Billie Eilish. And I think even Taylor Swift has played a role in that. So when Tyler Joseph is referring to prehistoric times, maybe he's talking about the genre switching and the stuff that they do, but, and maybe he would agree with me, but I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that you didn't get a ton of substance from your lyrics back before 21 Pilots hit the charts. And sure, there were some songs that would show up, and you know, there were a bunch of artists that were trying to say meaningful things, but I don't think it became quite so popular. I don't think that they were the mega artists. I mean, I can think immediately of the Chainsmokers, right? Who, at a time when they also immediately started copying the color, you know, the color themes of 21 Pilots, they also started releasing a couple of songs that were super deep and thoughtful, but it's like they were trying to sound super deep and thoughtful instead of fully being them. Like, they succeeded in some songs, but not in all. And I felt like for me, that was such a sign that 21 Pilots was really having a serious impact on culture and on music. And I thought it was more through their lyrics than their music. And so when he says prehistoric times, that's what I'm thinking of. But he continues, now that meteor is coming, and it's gonna kill the dinosaurs, him being a megalodon, it could be over for him. So he switches, I am Megatron, Cogs I'm stepping on. Megatron is, and I've never watched Transformers, but he's a Transformer, so he's a big, bad robot. Maybe he's a good robot. Anyway, he's a robot that's scary and huge, that can turn into normal vehicles. Somebody else explain Transformers to me, please. Then the little cogs get together, start a renaissance. So now they're making something new based on what they learned from Megatron, I guess. Switch it up on me, fuel efficiency, on fumes I am running. So he's having to be fuel efficient and keep going, but if he's on fumes, it means he could be running out. Is this the end? Is the meteor equivalent for Megatron coming? Which, would that be a bumblebee? I don't know. I don't know anything about Transformers, guys, help. But anyway, he continues on into the chorus again. Kids will try to take my vibes, or am I on the outside? In the summer heat, I'm in the street, I'm on the outside. You can pay the cover charge to get into the club. I'm in the street. So when he was asking earlier, am I on the outside? In the outro, he's basically saying, yeah, I am, and it's hot and it's gross out here, but I'm gonna keep, you know, in the place where it's uncomfortable, because that's where you actually find success, not in the club where you're just like everybody else. They can't, little did they know, yeah, here in the outro, he really starts to hit this home. Little did they know that they can't touch me, I'm vibing, I'm on the outside. And he keeps doing various repetitions of that, saying like, and this is interesting because it's one of the few 21 Pilots songs. Lane Boy started to hint into this. We got a little bit of this in Levitate, where it's kind of like a, hey, look at me, I did something impressive song. And I think the reason we haven't heard that from 21 Pilots in the past is because they just weren't that successful, right? So that makes sense that we'd hear it on Levitate, where he's talking about how he's breathing fire like a dragon, probably referring to his rapping, but it wouldn't have made sense to put that on Blurryface because they weren't international superstars at this point. And so chronologically and accomplishment-wise, it makes sense that this would show up here. It's still a little bit jarring to hear from 21 Pilots, but I get the message that he's giving, and it's that, yes, people do kind of sound similar, but it's just interesting to me because he says this, and I think this is probably an aspect of how his songwriting has improved. He's saying all of this with very little imagery and very few like unique words, actually. Like, he's getting an idea across. He is, so to speak, to borrow an image from the song itself, he's being very fuel efficient with the lyrics of the song, and he's getting it across effectively in a way that, you know, some of us still need to think through to be able to get. But he's getting this idea across in fewer words. And to me, that is interesting because in the past, 21 Pilots has been anything but shy about having really long verses, really long raps, and even like long choruses and bridges. I mean, just think of like Car Radio or Holding On To You or Heavy Dirty Soul. Songs like that that are just packed with words, and it takes a lot of words to say something. And that's something that actually surprised me about this album as a whole, is it just feels a lot more fuel efficient, which goes in line with what he was saying about getting back to the songwriting basics. All of that being said, this song seems to be about trying to stay outside of the normal and the same in the music industry and to do something different. So that's what I've gotten from my analysis and my research. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear what you think. If you disagree or you agree or you have something else to add, the last videos that I've put out, every single time somebody has something amazing to add and has a great perspective, and I learned so much just from reading the comments to the point where I wish I could have you all right here like chiming in and saying stuff. So thanks for teaching me, and we'll figure this out together. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to check out the Obsessed podcast, where we talk about people's obsessions and find out what makes people passionate. For you and me, that's 21 Pilots. Maybe we'll have an episode about them in the future. It's linked down below. Thanks for watching. That's the word. Okay, bye.